What's going on, everybody? It's Steve. We're here with the quarterfinals of the playoffs, round one. I'm going to go over my decision making for why I picked who I picked. You see the standings down there at the bottom of the other division. Dan ran away with it 7-0, just like me. And then we have Bohm and Ray at 4 and 3. Heaven and two other people were at 3 and 4. So a very, very close division. So I was going to pick between Bohm, Ray, or Heaven. I took one look at Heaven's team, and I couldn't think of anything I wanted to bring other than Sandaconda, so I scratched Heaven off of my possible selections. Seemed like a very tough matchup to think about. Even though he's got 14 points sitting on the board, he's got a tough team. So that left me with Bohm and Ray. And I think my matchup into Ray is slightly better. However, Ray, as a two-time champ, is a more dangerous player than Bohm. And Ray's team is similar to mine in that it has a fast mode. It wants to lean Trick Room most of the time, I would say, with the Dracalgy, Gramble, and Avalugg. It's got that Gallade that's very threatening, just like I have Sheer Force. He's got Sharpness. So my hope, actually, is that Ray wins round one. I went 7-0. I believe Ray, with a similar team to mine in terms of construction, will be able to win, and then I will pick Ray in round two after I beat Bohm, who I do believe I still have a good matchup into. Even though it's not quite as good as Ray, I'm trying to do some strategery. Let's see how that works out. So here is Bohm's team. I think he's bringing Jumpluff for the Sleep Powder, Encore, Tailwind, Strength Sap, Rage Powder. I don't care what attacking move it brings, it's a Jumpluff. Swampert also definitely comes. Water Ground is just a great typing, and it basically forces me to bring Executor. Rotom Fan electric moves are very good against me, and Flying covers what electric doesn't. The only thing I have against this really is Colossal. Emboar just does an immense amount of damage. He's brought it basically every week. From there, I don't think it's going to be Tinkatuff. Rabska, if he wants to set Trick Room, will surely come. And then I would also expect Golem to come with that, or something like a Room Service or Iron Ball, somewhere in here. Skarmory, he has brought it a lot. The Iron Defense Body Press set is not good against me because I have Dusknoir. I bring Will-O-Wisp quite a bit. It could just be an offensive, Brave Bird, Ironhead. Klotzer does big damage, could also be in Trick Room. If it comes, I would expect like Assault Vest, something to tear, maybe like a Dragon Terra, Dragon Pulse. Heracross would not be very likely, I don't think, just because it's got to run Flame Orb to really do damage. And it's completely walled by Dusknoir unless it runs Knockoff or something. And Diplin is actually quite bulky and good against my team with an Eviolite, so wouldn't be too shocked. Just no Tinkatuff. Let's get into what I'm not bringing, and you'll see some surprises. So my last slot on my team, I was deciding between two Mons. Veluza, which is very good with Final Gambit, Psychic moves, and Water moves are here. However, unless I run Icy Wind, doesn't offer much of a fast mode. And then because of this speed, right, you see Veluza there under the Skarmory, Heracross, Rotom, and Jumpluff. That's a lot of things that can attack me first. And I still have to run max speed on it, probably. Which means it's not going to be doing much damage. Sandaconda is good against Rotom, but it's hard to bring against the rest. I did have some builds with Glare, basically what I brought against Slide. Glare, Rock Slide, High Horsepower instead of Endeavor. Tauros Intimidate is obviously good this week, to the point where I expect him to bring Clear Amulet, maybe even a White Herb, but the calcs just aren't there. It's not doing enough damage if I bring Intimidate. And I do need most of my mons to do damage this week. Fortress, because there's a fire type, it's forced to Terra. Once again, doesn't do enough damage. Cryogonal doesn't even OHKO Rotom, and depending on the spread, it would not even OHKO Jumpluff, so this mon is quite useless. Let's get into the plan. So, game one, we're going really detailed here. Game one lead for Alligator and Dusknoir. With Frisk, I see some very important items. Sash on a Jumpluff, for example. Mental Herb on a Rabska. Choice Band versus Life Orb on Emboar. Covert Cloak on a jump left, perhaps, to get around Fake Out Hariyama. Choice Scarf or Choice Specs on a Rotom, even. This Feraligatr is EV'd to outspeed Modest Rotom. Because I'm in the old server with Bohm, I know that he has only ever run Modest Rotom. And I agree with that decision in general, because you need the power from Modest if you're running a Scarf. However, that means that my Feraligatr can outspeed if he does bring a Scarf, and if I don't, I live a timid Scarf Thunderbolt as well. So I've got Ice Punch, Flip Turn, and Liquidation are the main moves there. Surf obviously indicates to you that I am bringing Colossal. So all of these potential leads here, Jumpluff, these are the ones I'm worried about. We go back to the team. I'm really only worried about the top 5 in lead, I think. And maybe Heracross. Heracross is a weird lead because it probably has to protect or it's not doing enough damage. So Jumpluff Emboar. If it's Sash Jumpluff, I can double into it. Ice Punch, Shadow Sneak, get the Oko. If Emboar chooses to Flare Blitz Dust Noir, I would kind of expect it to roar, but it could just be going for the kill. I live that, and I can get the Oko with Poltergeist after the recoil. Jumpluff plus anything else, I think. I can just taunt Jumpluff and start spamming Liquidation in the other slot. And if the other slot is also Scarfed, like Rotom, Flip Turn out of there, set up Trick Room, suddenly I've got the speed advantage while you are stuck with a Scarf Rotom. Swampert and Emboar, he's led it a few times. I've got 2 Dragon Terras here to ignore fire and water moves. Probably need to Terra that Dust Noir, and then just start clicking Liquidation, Poltergeist. If it's Rabska on lead, he's probably got Trick Room Imprison, in which case I can taunt it, or just Poltergeist it twice, depending on what its item is, and attack with Feraligatr. And once again, if it's Heracross, it's really only threatening with Guts. So I can switch out Gator with a Flip Turn, set up Trick Room if I want. Ideally, I don't Terra, so I'm hoping for Swampert, or I'm hoping for anything but Swampert and Emboar. And if I kill Rabska and Rotom, really gonna struggle to kill this Hariyama, who is Terra Fairy. This also depends on what he's bringing, of course. I can slot in Colossal instead of Hariyama here. But Exeggutor switches into any super effective attacks on Feraligatr, like a electric move or a grass move. So, also the Sleep Powder. So if I can taunt the Jumpluff, switch out into Exeggutor, Jumpluff stuck there doing absolutely nothing. Assuming it doesn't have an attacking move. I think he's only brought 2 attacking moves all season. This Exeggutor spread tanks a Life Orb Flare Blitz and an unboosted Ice Punch from Max Attack Swampert. I think I live both on 1 HP, which is fun. Air Slash from Rotom as well, and it could, depending on Citrus Berry Harvest Luck, live 2 Rabska Bug Buzzes. Also depending on investment, but that's Max Attack, not boosted Rabska. Fairy Terra Hariyama, Fairy Harry, is not hit by anything stab other than Skarmory and Tinkatuff. Who cares about Tinkatuff? Rabska threatens it with Psychic Noise, because then I'm stuck clicking Fire Punch, and I don't get leftovers. And Rotom with Air Slash. I don't hit it back too hard, but I do win that eventually with Drain Punch and leftovers. All I need is 1 bulk up, really, to start getting 2 hit KOs with Drain Punch, and I keep healing the whole time. Fire Punch is there for Heracross, Skarmory, Jumpluff, and Rabska. And Sleep Powder on the Exeggutor will help me sweep with Hariyama. Note that they are not min speed. Dust Noir has 4 EVs in speed, so it is slightly faster than the Exeggutor. So if he does bring that Trick Room mode, all of these will probably be faster outside of Trick Room. So I'm actually aiming to stop Trick Room if he brings it, and set Trick Room if he doesn't. So, the adjustment. If that plan doesn't go well, we've got our patented Power Herb Colossal with Surf. Same speed tiers as we talked about before, except the Colossal outspeeds Scarf Rotom max speed. When it is activated, the only thing it wouldn't outspeed is Chlorophyll Jumpluff, which you gotta set the sun for that, that's obviously not good, or Scarf Jumpluff. Surf plus Meteor Beam should Oko Emboar, which is the main threat to Colossal because I'm not running Flash Fire. Can also just Flamethrower Heracross, which is the other threat to Colossal. With the Surf Chip, I don't even need the power for the +1 special attack. If this is my lead, I need to have Dusknoir in the back to reverse Trick Room in case Rabsca comes. And so that leaves either Executor or Hariyama coming as well. I have to Terra Colossal here though, so if I do bring Hariyama, I need to remove Rotom and Rabsca, so I don't get hit by Psychic moves or Flying moves. That leaves a 6th Mon, and you know it's Noctowl, baby. This thing hard counters Jump Love if I need to. With Insomnia, I can't be put to sleep. Air Slash to hit it super effectively, and actually the flying coverage is great this week. It's also hitting Emboar, it's hitting Heracross. My defenses don't matter because I'm setting up Tailwind, I got a Sash, and then I just start spamming moves that flinch you. Heat Wave is here for Skarmory. If I get locked in a 1v1 for some reason and he's doing Iron Defense Body Press, or if he's doing anything anyway, I get 2-hit KO on max HP Skarmory. And as I mentioned, Dusknoir, Hariyama, and Executor have that middling speed stat, so they outspeed everything Emboar or slower under Tailwind, and Hariyama outspeeds Rotom and Heracross under Tailwind. Uproar is here just to wake up my other mons as well. This is faster than everything on my team except for that Feraligatr. So as long as this is out against Jumpluff, then I can click Uproar and wake up my other mon under Tailwind and keep going from there. So that is the team. We're playing Bohm sometime soon. This will be broadcast in the playoff stream probably, so I guess this will be posted next Monday anyway. Let's get into the game. Okay, we are back. Could not do live comp, unfortunately. My daughter was sleeping in the next room, so I did not want to wake her up. So doing a little bit of replay analysis. Right off the bat, no Rabsca, no Swampert, which means there is no Trick Room mode at all. The Skarmory is here, obviously worried about Body Press, Jumpluff, Sleep Powder, of course. How does he stop Trick Room here? You could have Taunt on the Emboar, or you could have Roar on Emboar, or Whirlwind on the Skarmory. Otherwise, I'm thinking my plan's going to work pretty well, so I lead off with Dusknoir and Feraligatr, and we see Skarmory and Clawitzer with a Covert Cloak and a Life Orb. Life Orb is somewhat expected. That also means it's not on the Emboar, so I know that Emboar has no chance of one-shotting Dusknoir, unless it has a choice band. We look at the Terras. Terra Ghost, I see the Covert Cloak here, but that implies it's not Covert Cloak anyway. Terra Fire, probably for huge damage on the Flare Blitz. Terra Rock is kind of confusing to me. I'm not sure what to think about that. Yeah, okay. Terra Fighting, that's probably for a Body Press. Terra Water just covers for ice moves, I guess. Either for Alligator. Cryogonal has Freeze Dry, so it would not cover for that. And then Dragon is probably for the Dragon Pulse onto Executor. So because he's leading Skarmory and it has a Covert Cloak, I right away assume it's going for Whirlwind. So I believe I just double into it with Poltergeist and Liquidation. Just start doing damage right away. Dragon Pulse comes out, does quite a bit of damage. But Feraligator's here for a good time, not a long time. So we do chip away at the Skarmory, who does reveal the Whirlwind. So my Liquidation did 34% to the Skarmory, so I know I get that I know I get that kill with another Liquidation, at least most of the time. I see Terra Dragon. It's already used Dragon Pulse, so Dragon Pulse coming in here is pretty obvious. He probably assumes I want a Trick Room, so I use a Protect anyway. Get rid of the Skarmory, and Dragon Pulse goes into the Protect. And out comes the Heracross. No Guts activated yet, if it has Guts. And up until this point, I don't think I have revealed that I am Scarf. No, because Feraligatr can be faster than both of these. So it's a free turn to get some damage off onto Heracross, provided it doesn't protect. But this is probably going to be a Dragon Pulse or a Mega Horn in here, so I do end up tearing my Executor, which I did not think I wanted to do, and going for an Energy Ball. There's a close combat, takes out for Alligator, but Heracross is down really low. That's a really unfortunate roll. I'm 2% away from getting my Citrus Berry activated. But Energy Ball takes out Clodsir, so we're up 3-2. With a burned Guts Heracross there, we do see Flame Orb, and we see Clear Amulet, which is there to stop Intimidate from Tauros, obviously, which did not come. But because you're Clear Amulet, not any boosting item, I know for a fact I lived even Terrifier Flare Blitz. I know Heracross probably can't touch Dusknoir, so I'm not terribly concerned about it, but at this point both of these Mons and Hariyama in the back are slower than Heracross and Emboar, so I do want to set up Trick Room. Close combat does take out my Executor, that's okay. Flare Blitz, and we're living. And we're setting up Trick Room. So now I've got my Hariyama. I debate going for a bulk up here, because double protect is a pretty obvious play. Bulk up and then just attack into Heracross, because I know Hariyama walls out the Emboar, but I ended up double attacking into a double protect, so didn't really matter. I do reveal the Fire Punch here. That is, I mean, I could have just Drain Punch. Surely Drain Punch gets a KO on a -2. Yeah. Reveals the Sucker Punch. I didn't even know that thing got Sucker Punch, so good play. Fire Punch takes out Heracross. 2 turns of Trick Room, so I figure one of them he's going to protect. So I get the bulk up off. And then I just start Drain Punching. CC does 41%, so I know that a crit CC would take me out here. So I protect for a little bit more recovery. And Bohm Clit's Flare Blitz, probably just to see if I'm thick fat. Which obviously I am. I think you got a chance of winning if you got a crit CC there anyway. But choosing to gather more information in a guaranteed way versus going for a 2% chance of winning, I can respect that. So that was about as bad as it could have gone, I think. Winning with only one Mon left at 50%. So we did see in the chat he recognized Scarf Gator, of course, because max speed Heracross probably. So I expect Rotom is coming and that Rotom is Scarfed, because we've already seen Covert Cloak, Clear Amulet, and Life Orb. It's either going to be Specs or Scarf at this point. So I just do the same thing, because I will either learn that it is Scarf, Timid, or Specs based on turn 1. And we do see Rotom with a Scarf. So here, there's no Rapska, so I know if I get rid of Rotom, I don't have to Terra my Hariyama. So I use my Terra for Alligator to cover for Timid, Scarf, Thunderbolt. I don't really want to take 90%. And then I just fire off an Ice Punch, because if I am faster, that'll do like 70% or so. And this time I reveal the Taunt, because I don't want to get Whirlwinded. And it also guarantees that Skarmory can't protect anymore if it has it. So there's my Terra. It's just Volt Switch, does a little bit, and Ice Punch is going to do a fair amount to Heracross. 37 is pretty good. And he sets up Tailwind. Even though I showed Trick Room, it's pretty risky. So I think here you basically need to double Dusknoir. However, I don't have a good switch for Brave Bird plus Mega Horn or Knockoff or whatever if you're Terra Rock. A rock move, I guess. Hariyama would take too much from Brave Bird. Executor would also take too much from Brave Bird. So I just go for Trick Room and Liquidation, and it's just a Rock Slide. Hoping for a flinch, which makes sense. Ice Punch gets a higher roll this time. Brave Bird only takes me down 44%, so I get the Trick Room off. I wonder how much Mega Horn would have done. May have been the better play, I don't know. Would it do an extra 31%? Possibly. We'll never know. So I'm in Trick Room now. Skarmory's taunted. I know that's a free attack. Even if Heracross chooses to attack this turn, I'm okay with that. But it should protect. It does protect. And we got a Poltergeist off, which does 39. Brave Bird, I guess I am Scarfed, but Skarmory very clearly not max speed, if it is slower than my Scarf for Alligator and Tailwind. But it's taking that recoil, doesn't take me out, and I get another Ice Punch off. Heracross is basically dead this turn. I was trying to decide what to do. I have Shadow Sneak, I could reveal it here and take out either of them, really. But I think I just end up doubling into Skarmory with Poltergeist and Ice Punch, risking the miss a little bit. But I know Skarm can't protect, so it's a free double up. Because if it's a switch, I cover for the switch. And if I get the kill, it goes into the other slot. So Rotom comes in, and Emboar. What happens here? I know you're Scarfed, so the order here is Dusknoir, Emboar for Alligator. Rotom. I actually don't remember what I did. Right, switch. Right, so I know you're Timid Scarf. And that means you have no shot in hell of killing this Executor. So I switch that in, expecting an Air Slash there, and probably Sucker Punch? Oh, just to protect, okay. I missed the Poltergeist, so there's the Poltergeist miss I've been worried about. But that's not even a 2-hit KO with the Citrus, and I harvest back the Citrus, so really good turn. You're Scarfed, you're going down to an Energy Ball. And then I think it's just a Poltergeist. Yeah, and I get Sucker Punch this turn. So, would have done the exact same thing last turn, had he not protected, because I missed. So kind of a wash there. Executor gets the Oko on Rotom, and here... Yeah, let's replay that, and then pause. Because... Yes. So here, as you saw, I decided to switch out for Alligator. I'm predicting the Sucker Punch, obviously. But even if you do not, and say... Like, I feel like you have to, because I can Liquidation and Oko there. Even if you do not, and you say Flare Blitz the Executor, 1, I might even live. 2, if I don't, it's then Hariyama, and for Alligator, I get a free bulk up off. If you Sucker Punch the for Alligator, it goes down. I'm at +1/+1. You literally cannot win. If you choose to close combat the Hariyama in that case, I get a Liquidation off and you die, and you cannot win. So there's the switch. Sucker Punch comes out, fails. I get the Sleep Powder off. And now I get a free bulk up because of the Sleep turn, and now you cannot win. Especially with Dragon Pulse doing 40%. There's a Protect turn, which is interesting, because that would have just given me another bulk up. But Flare Blitz, as we see, does get the KO on Executor. And Drain Punch finishes off the Emboar. And there we go. A solid 2-0. We're moving on to the next round. And as I said in the opener, probably picking Ray. Thanks for watching.